how to remove a control board from a Gotway MSuper V3. And hopefully the dog won't get in the way too much. So you need a Phillips screwdriver for undoing all these screws around here. And so there's nothing under this foam pad, but you do need to remove the footplate, and you also need an Allen key fitting. So undo this one. Now if these are really stiff, like they are on this, and even if I crank this up to 1, it's really difficult to actually power it out. It's because you've got a load of dirt in there. And so you need to put a bit of WD-40 on there or something to get it out. And so for the next part, you need to undo these. So when you're putting this back together, start them back off by hand. Don't use a screwdriver unless you want to risk damaging. Now this will most likely void your warranty, so unless you've been told specifically by the vendor that you can do this, don't. So another good example of this being stuck is the bar that goes to the middle. As standard, these are not lubricated. So they can be really, really tough. So in this case, I'm going to need a little mallet just to knock this on through. Let me go and grab one of those. Okay, I brought a WD-40 back with me as well. Now use a rubber mallet. Put a bit in here, there, because that's where the bar goes through, and there. There it goes. Right, can be really stiff, as I say. Aluminium washers, spacers. Okay, and then you can continue. Okay, and this pack or plate or cover is stuck to the battery at the top here. It's not screwed in. If you think it is, it's not. So slowly get your hand underneath it and gently pull it away. Very gently. There we go. That's the side, and as you can see here, there's a mark there where the board's gone. The board's actually popped. Can't see any visible damage on here at all. But yeah, let's replace that. So this is my trial unit, my MSuper, which I bought to see what it could withstand, and I jumped off a curb into soft sand, to which it did not like at all. Obviously it was expected to carry on moving, it didn't, and it just popped the board. Still powers up, so it's still turn on, but no stabilization. If you think your board's gone, at the point that happens, don't carry on using it. Turn it off, don't power it back on again. Wait, contact the vendor and ask them if it sounds like it may have gone. This is only the second one that we've had go, and to be honest, I was jumping into soft sand, so not exactly what it's designed to do at the time, but I was experimenting. It was just to try and see what would happen, really. So disconnect the batteries like that. There's a battery this side and a battery the other side. Disconnect those, keep them more or less where they were. You've then got this silicone over the top of the connectors, which makes it quite awkward. You need to just gently ease that off. You can use a very sharp blade, but you have to be very, very careful you don't cut any of these wires. You cut any of these wires, you've screwed it up. You need to replace the looms. So if you're not sure what you're doing at this point, put it back together and get help. This screw needs to come off. Now this is like the heatsink essentially, so you do need some CPU paste underneath here, and that helps cool it down, just like your CPU and your computer. You'll see these cables here. So these are color coded. It's as simple as pulling these apart. Let's disconnect those, and that's to the motor. So that's the motor unit cables. And this one's actually got a cable tie, which I'm hoping I'll be able to feed through. So you see, green. If I can show you. Trying to show you the blue underneath there. So they're all color coded. Obviously put them back exactly as you find them, the fittings. So that's those cables, and then watch where they run, so you can see where they ran and how tight they were. You've got to remember that the plate goes back over the top, and it keeps all this very, very close. So you need to be very, very careful with how you put them back. Chances of these connectors coming back out, even though they're siliconed in, to hold them in, to be doubly sure, is very slim, because the amount they've got to come out means they would actually be hitting this. Okay, so I'm going to work on these.
So what's just happened there is it's pulled the connector off of the board, which isn't right, let's be honest.
Right, so that bottom part should be on there, and all it's doing is a housing for the cable. That's all it is. Doesn't need to be soldered on, just slide that back on. Right, so that's that one disconnected, and it's the same with all these. So you just need to work around and work out which side the clip's on. Should all be the same side, but you just need to work that out. So there's that side. As long as you depress the clip, they will actually pop off, like so. Try and keep them more or less in the same order they're in. It make it a lot simpler for when you actually put it back together again. So you may find rocking it back and forth will actually release the silicon. If that's failing, then use a Stanley knife to break the seal. Right, and don't leave any bits of silicon lying around, because you might as well keep it nice and tidy. As you'll see now, the board is free from cables. So we've undone the big screw there. You've then got these, which you shouldn't need to remove the silicon. It should find the screw head automatically. And monitor how tight those screws are in there, and then try and replicate that when you put it back in. You don't want to over tighten it, otherwise you'll thread it. Okay, there we go. That is it there. Old board, going to be a place for a new board. Okay, you'll probably get a board that's wrapped up like this in bubble wrap. You need to remove it. Keep it away from anything electrical so you don't get a static shock or anything strange like that. Be super careful when I'm wrapping it. If you damage this, you just bust your replacement. Okay, there's a replacement board. What you need to make sure of is that this rubber grommet is over in its correct position. When you remove the board, it very often pulls it out of position. And take the opportunity to give it a quick clean up. So this one's got a bit of dirt on it. I'm going to go and clean that up. Okay, and that seal is stopping the mud and water coming up through into the board, but it's also acting as a cooling side of the board as well, which helps keep it cool. Your paste needs to be blocked on here, basically. So there we go. Nice bit of cooling paste. Okay, let's put this on. And with this, you need to put the main screw back in, so, and then also hand tighten if you can, screws going in for the board, because you don't want to cross thread these or any other really.
So.
And don't tighten them all the way up, just loosely.
Okay.
And once you've got them all in position, go round, ideally diagonally, and just check the pressure. And there we go. Nicely screwed back in. Then you've got these connectors that all need to work their way through. Those need to go back. That one will go there.
That goes in there. That goes in there. That goes in there. Make sure they're seated correctly. Okay.
And you can re-silicone those if you wish to be 100% sure they're not going to come back out. If they come out when you're riding along, it will give you a very bad day, to say the least. So you can re-silicone those back up. The cables you need to reconnect back up in their respective colours. So yellow to yellow. Pretty straightforward really.
This one's green. Green. You notice I'm going to put this back through this area here. So blue to blue. And green to green. Okay.
That is now all wired back up. You can wire this back up. Push that back into place. You can then wire this one back up. Have a good look round, make sure everything's in its position it should be in. It all looks neat and tidy. Everything's definitely connected up. All nice and solidly. All looks spot on. Nothing's going to get caught when you put it back down. You haven't got any cables overlapping that you're going to pinch when you put it back down. And then you're good to refit the cover. Like so. So with the cover, you need to work your way around and put clips in. And it keep going round, and it will work its way in, and then you can screw it in. There we are. So I'd recommend putting these back in by hand. This is for convenience for this video. I'm going to try and put it back in. Opposite ends. If any point it doesn't go down, it's not flush with a nice seal around the edge to meet the other part of the body, you need to stop and reopen it up and have a look to see if there's a cable that you've pinched, because it should be nice and smooth and easy once you've pushed it down by hand. That is all back on. Foot plate. Now I'll take this opportunity to put a bit on there, so it should stop the problem in the future. Just put that in there. Like so. Okay, it doesn't want to go through that way. Let's try it the other way. Okay. Just tap that in there. Okay. Start it by hand if you can. Might save you threading it, cross-threading it, should I say? Because that would be a bit of a disaster.
Oh, use the right tool.
And there we go. Fitted. Stabilizing. All done. Let's take it for a quick test ride. Okay, and when you're testing it, after fitting a board, you need to start very, very slowly, just to ensure that everything feels like it should. You don't want to be causing yourself an accident. So it's feeling okay, and it's travelling along lovely. All done. Just do some light braking to make sure. It's all working fine. Excellent. That is how you replace a board on a Gotway MSuper V3. Hope this has been helpful. Please like and subscribe. Cheers, guys.